the comprehensive saga of Napoleon Bonaparte, from Corsica to legend. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on August 15, 1769, in Ajaccio, Corsica, just months after the island became a French territory. The Bonaparte family, of Italian descent, was minor nobility but not wealthy, setting the stage for Napoleon's ambitious rise. Young Napoleon was sent to mainland France for schooling, where he attended the military academy in Brienne-le-Château. Despite being mocked for his Corsican accent and modest means, he proved to be fiercely intelligent, particularly excelling in mathematics and history. His education continued at the prestigious École Militaire in Paris. Here, Napoleon focused on artillery, quickly mastering the technical and strategic aspects of the field. His time at the École was cut short due to financial issues, but he had shown enough promise to secure a commission. Napoleon's early military career was marked by his strategic acumen during the siege of Toulon in 1793. As a young artillery officer, he devised plans that were crucial in recapturing the city from Royalist and British forces, highlighting his military potential early on. This early success at Toulon earned Napoleon a promotion to brigadier general at the age of 24. His bold tactics and leadership during the siege had caught the attention of France's revolutionary leaders, setting him on a path toward greater military and political power. Napoleon Bonaparte decisively showcased his military acumen during the suppression of the Royalist insurrection in October 1795. Using artillery to disperse the rebels gathered at the Tuileries, he earned the nickname the Whiff of Grape Shot. This action cemented his reputation as a formidable tactician and defender of the revolutionary government. Following this success, Napoleon's personal life took a significant turn when he married Josephine de Beauharnais in March 1796. Josephine, a widow with 2 children, brought social connections and influence that proved pivotal in Napoleon's career. Their marriage, though fraught with personal challenges, formed a crucial alliance during his rise to power. Shortly after his marriage, Napoleon was given command of the French army in Italy. His leadership in this role was transformative, achieving spectacular victories that forced Austria and its allies to reconsider their positions. His innovative strategies and rapid maneuvers led to the conquest of most of northern Italy. In 1797, these victories culminated in the Treaty of Campo Formio with Austria. This treaty not only secured French gains, but also restructured the political landscape of Italy. It marked Napoleon as a key architect of European diplomacy, significantly enhancing his stature in France. The Egyptian campaign that Napoleon embarked on in 1798 aimed at undermining British access to their Indian colonies and establishing French dominance in the Mediterranean. Despite initial successes, such as the capture of Malta and the Battle of the Pyramids, the campaign faltered when the French fleet was destroyed at the Battle of the Nile, leaving his forces stranded. Napoleon Bonaparte's rise to power was marked by the coup of 18 Brumaire in 1799. During a time of political instability, he, with the help of his brother Lucien and other allies, managed to overthrow the Directory, the governing body of France, thereby ending the French Revolution's governmental phase. Following the coup, Napoleon established the consulate, positioning himself as the first consul. This new government structure was intended to stabilize France and consolidate power, effectively making Napoleon the paramount leader. His authority was further legitimized through a constitution that was approved by a public referendum. Under his rule, the consulate implemented significant reforms that transformed French society. Napoleon restructured the legal system, leading to the creation of the Napoleonic Code, which streamlined the French legal framework and influenced laws in many other countries. Educational reforms standardized schooling, and financial reforms stabilized the economy. In 1802, the French people, acknowledging his successful reforms and military victories, supported the motion to appoint Napoleon as consul for life. This appointment was another step towards absolute power, reflecting both his popularity and his ability to manipulate public opinion to cement his authority. The following year, Napoleon's influence expanded beyond European borders with the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. He sold the vast territory to the United States for $15 million, effectively doubling the size of the young nation. This decision was driven by his strategic retreat in the Americas, allowing him to focus on European conflicts. Napoleon's ascent to imperial status was solidified in a grand ceremony in 1804, where he was crowned Emperor of the French. This event marked a pivotal shift from republican ideals to an empire under a single ruler, underscoring his control and the beginning of a new era in French history. The establishment of the Napoleonic Code was one of Napoleon's most enduring legacies. This comprehensive set of laws standardized legal systems across conquered and allied territories, emphasizing principles like equality before the law, secular authority, and property rights, profoundly influencing European legal frameworks. The Battle of Trafalgar in 1805 was a significant naval confrontation wherein the British fleet, led by Admiral Nelson, decisively defeated the Franco-Spanish fleet. This victory ended Napoleon's hopes of invading Britain and established British naval supremacy, critically shaping European maritime power dynamics. Following his victory at Austerlitz, where his forces dramatically defeated the Austro-Russian armies, Napoleon continued to expand his influence. In 1806, he established the Confederation of the Rhine, a union of German states intended to serve as a buffer against Austrian and Prussian power and to consolidate his control in Central Europe. In a bold move to disrupt British trade and weaken their economy, Napoleon issued the Berlin Decree in 1806, initiating the Continental System. This blockade prohibited European nations from trading with the UK, aiming to cripple Britain economically, but it also strained relations with neutral countries and even French allies. Napoleon's issuance of the Berlin Decree in 1806 marked the beginning of the Continental System, an ambitious blockade against the United Kingdom. This move aimed to cripple British economic power by prohibiting European nations from trading with the UK, attempting to enforce French dominance over Europe through economic means. The Peninsular War began in 1808 when Napoleon invaded Spain and Portugal. This conflict was sparked by efforts to enforce the Continental System, but it escalated due to resistance from local guerrillas and the British military. It drained French resources and undermined Napoleon's image as an invincible leader. In a strategic move to consolidate power, Napoleon elevated several family members to royal status across Europe. This nepotism established a network of alliances, securing his empire's political framework. However, it also sowed seeds of resentment among conquered peoples, contributing to widespread unrest. Napoleon's 1812 invasion of Russia was a pivotal event, characterized by initial victories followed by a disastrous retreat. The harsh Russian winter and scorched earth tactics decimated his grand army, marking a significant turning point in his military dominance and shifting European alliances against him. The War of the Sixth Coalition erupted as European powers, emboldened by Napoleon's weakened state post-Russia, united to challenge his rule. The decisive Battle of Leipzig in 1813, also known as the Battle of Nations, saw Napoleon defeated by a coalition that included Austria, Prussia, Russia, and Sweden, leading to his first abdication. Napoleon's rule momentarily ended in 1814 when he was forced to abdicate and exile to the island of Elba. Despite his diminished power, Napoleon quickly regained control of the island, even reforming its government and building a small navy during his brief tenure as its ruler. The period known as the 100 Days began when Napoleon escaped from Elba in 1815 and returned to power in France. His return sparked a frenzy of support, but it also reignited hostilities with the European coalitions, which had previously defeated him. The Battle of Waterloo, which occurred in June 1815, marked a decisive defeat for Napoleon. His army was overwhelmed by the British, led by Duke of Wellington and the Prussians, under Gebhard Leberecht von Blücher. This crushing loss effectively ended Napoleon's rule and his ambitions for France. Following his defeat at Waterloo, Napoleon was compelled to abdicate once again. This time, he was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic. The British government selected the location for its isolation and inaccessibility, ensuring that Napoleon could no longer pose a threat to European stability. During his final years on St. Helena, Napoleon lived under strict supervision in a modest house, Longwood. His health steadily declined, and he often complained of harsh conditions and mistreatment. Despite these challenges, he spent much of his time writing his memoirs, reflecting on his career and the legacy he hoped to leave behind. Napoleon Bonaparte died on May 5, 1821, on the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic, where he lived in exile after his final defeat at Waterloo. His death has been surrounded by speculation, with theories ranging from stomach cancer to arsenic poisoning, fueling ongoing debates among historians. Following his death, an autopsy was conducted by Napoleon's personal physician, which concluded that he died of stomach cancer. However, this diagnosis has been contested over the years, with some researchers suggesting that high levels of arsenic found in his hair samples indicate possible poisoning, intentionally or from environmental sources. Napoleon's rule left a profound legacy in France, reshaping its legal framework through the introduction of the Napoleonic Code. This set of civil laws granted post-revolutionary France a coherent set of guidelines for property, colonial affairs, family, and individual rights, influencing legal systems beyond French borders. The Napoleonic reforms extended further into the European legal and administrative systems, where they facilitated the emergence of state bureaucracies that were more organized and centralized. His reforms also promoted the merit-based system and secular education, laying the groundwork for modern administrative practices in several European nations. Napoleon's innovative approaches to warfare also left an enduring mark on military tactics worldwide. His strategies, such as the divisional square and the use of mobile artillery, revolutionized how battles were fought and have been studied in military academies around the globe, influencing generations of military strategists. Napoleon Bonaparte has been a prominent figure in cultural mediums, ranging from classic paintings to modern films. His strategic mind and tumultuous life have inspired countless portrayals that reflect various interpretations of his character and legacy, highlighting both his military genius and his controversial political actions. In 1840, Napoleon's remains were returned to France in a momentous event known as the Retour des Cendres. This ceremony was not just a funeral procession, but a powerful symbol of French national pride and reconciliation with the past. It solidified Napoleon's status as an enduring icon in French history. The Napoleonic legend has been used politically to evoke a sense of glory and nationalism. Governments and political groups have utilized his image as a symbol of strong leadership and French supremacy. This manipulation of his legacy has often been geared towards consolidating power and inspiring loyalty among citizens. Napoleon's policies and military tactics had a lasting impact on the global balance of power. His actions led to significant changes in European borders and influenced the colonial policies of the era. His legacy in shaping world history is evident in the diplomatic and military strategies that are studied even today. Modern historiography debates on Napoleon continue to evolve, reflecting changes in historical perspectives and values. Scholars examine his role not just as a military leader, but also consider the social, economic, and political impacts of his rule. This ongoing discourse keeps Napoleon's legacy relevant and subject to re-evaluation in the context of global history.